a partially valid, a half-truth, if you will, is
Yeah.
being pushed.
I can't wait to find out all sorts of new and exciting things I didn't know about myself.
So you just hate Jews, bro.
Yeah, you're
It's
just an anti-Semite. Congratulations.
You're
Go
not
join.
an-
What would you say?
Exactly.
Well, that's different. It's not different. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's
That just we are the only society on Earth who has the obligation to self-destruct, to blame ourselves for every problem that has ever existed, and we just think of ourselves as the worst human beings who are responsible for every bad.
How many Muslims are trying to stop Boko Haram? How many Muslims were confronting ISIS? How many Muslims, the extremists always win. So the peaceful majority, which I know many, they're irrelevant.
Good morning, Misfits. If you're listening on audio, this isn't really gonna be funny, but it's definitely gonna be funny if you're watching. The arm of my chair just fell off, and I don't know if you know, but I utilize my armchairs, and I don't know what to do right now. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to. All right, we're gonna be doing the show like this. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Great start. Great start. Not technical difficulty, just equipment malfunction. Now we're moving on. We're moving on to that. Good morning, Misfits. Zach's Candace takedown was fire. We'll get to that. We will, because I've been telling you, my chat, my audience, my followers, my fans, I've been telling you how to deal with the woke right, with the conspiracy theorists, with the podcastistan for a while now, and I am a little bit impressed with myself on how I displayed that. We'll get to that, but first, good morning, Misfits. I usually do the good morning, Misfits, and I was like, did this just happen? Did I just lose an armchair? This is not okay. Not okay. Good morning, Wiki Nod, Ms. Mocha Powered, Bad Moon, Amanda Collins, Great Guy Gary on the Edge, Kit Kat Mar. How's everybody doing today? Okay. When I tell you that this is a packed show, I mean packed. I don't think I've ever had this many tabs open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Over 20. Over 20. So let's just jump right into it. You're a mess. Okay. First of all, let's start out with the theme of the day. Today is Woke Wednesday, second favorite day. Selective justice is what we're going to be talking about today. Selective justice, right? As you can see here, you have Matt Walsh on one side and you have Jasmine Crockett on the other, both selectively deciding when they want justice to be blind, right? Because woke justice is what we're seeing in today's society. What was social justice, right, is woke justice, and it's not blind. No, it's got perfect eyesight. It is, in fact, it's reliant on its eyesight, right? Because all it sees is the color of the person, or the idea, or the ethnicity, the religion of the person, and that determines whether or not you should treat them better or worse. And I think that if anyone is claiming to be a constitutionalist, an American, a patriot, a freedom-loving individual, I think that if they are pushing that message, then I don't want to go as far as to do what the other people do and be like, you're an American, you're a traitor. No. You're sorely mistaken. and both sides do it. And on Woke Wednesday, what do we talk about? We talk about how both sides have become woke, right? Sure, it is disproportionate on the left. The left is way more woke than the right. The left has had a lot more practice, but the right is entertaining woke ideology. And what is woke ideology? We talk about this every week for a reason. It is a cancer growing in our country and in our movement, and we need to treat it. Woke ideology is not a leftist ideology. Woke ideology is a victim mentality based on identity politics. It's always somebody else's fault. Your life sucks because of black people, white people, Jews. Insert here. The Indians are coming over and taking all of our jobs with H-1Bs. Okay, yes, H-1Bs are a problem. Why'd you say Indians? Well, because it's disproportionately Indians. I understand it's disproportionately Indians, and if you wanted to go ahead and drop some type of statistic, that would be one thing. But you say Indians because you have a problem with Indians. It's the same thing. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't address the problems. You should address the problems. For instance, the problem that we have with the outrage over the Carmelo Anthony trial is a lot of people are comparing it to other trials. Same thing is happening with Chud the Builder. Oh, Chud the Builder is George Zimmerman. Two completely different cases. The only thing that you have in common with the only comparison, let me put it this way. This show might get spicy. I might have some tough love and harsh language, but it's important. If the only comparable metric you have in two situations is one was white and one was black, you are a effing moron. There are so many more variables in every situation. Creating false equivalencies where the only qualifier is one person had a lot of melanin, the other person didn't have a lot of melanin, so obviously it's the same exact thing as the other time that this one person had a lot of melanin and the other person didn't have a lot of melanin. It's exactly what the left has been doing to us for years, and you didn't like it, so why are you doing it? How many times has somebody gone, white people with slavery? I didn't own any friggin' slaves. The hell are you talking about? I've never owned a slave. I've never supported slavery. I'm just white. My crime is white, right? Now you have people on the right doing the same thing. Why? What's wrong with you? How did you catch stupid? You literally have been running around for a decade calling the left dumb for the way they make arguments, and then you just started making those arguments. We're going to talk about it. We got a lot to get to. But jeez, I didn't do it. Jeez. We have the Daily Breakdown queued up, but I have so much that I want to cover on this. We will save it for last. But if you've never seen the show before, here's what we do. We do the Woke Wednesday, okay? We do the Woke Wednesday. We do the 2A Thursday. We do the the TDS Tuesday. We do Maha Monday, and we do Fan Mail Friday. But we also try to cover the news. Today, I think we're going to be spending the majority of the show on this problem because we are messing up. We're messing up. All right. I'm going to have to start deleting these tabs as I go. Unrelated, but similarly related, right? Candace Owens, she's not even part of the problem that we're talking about. She's a whole different problem and a very, very big problem, okay? I've tried to address her, not so much. I've tried to not ignore her. You don't ignore problems. You know, if you have a nail in your tire, you don't ignore it. Okay, but I have viewed her as a nail in the tire and not, you know, like a blown transmission for a while. I think I'm leaning towards that. She's probably a pretty big problem. So we do need to talk about it, right? However, people are addressing her the wrong way. There's too many people who are addressing Candace the wrong way. I'll explain that in a minute. Let's see what Candace Owens had to say about her trip to Russia, though.
My takeaway from visiting Russia is that it is our society that is on the decline, not theirs. Russia, like I said, has not been communist in over 30 years.
Pause. Russia has not been communist in over 30 years. Okay. Does anyone dispute the fact that Candace will make some type of comparison to, or not comparison, I'm sorry, accusation. Candace will make some type of accusation to Donald Trump, this administration, this country being controlled by, quote, Zionists. Does anybody dispute the fact that Candace makes that accusation, right? That America is controlled by Zionists because of our relationship with Israel. I believe that everyone will agree that she will agree that she does. Right? So Candace makes the argument that America is controlled by Israel and Zionists because of our relationship, our partnership, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Russia's main partner is China. They're a communist party, right? Russia was, kind of still is, very communist under Soviet Union. Putin has not been shy about his ambitions to bring back the Soviet Union. So, if so facto, her own logic, yes, they are. They are communist. They're communist because they're controlled by China. They can't function without China. Without China, Russia's really not that strong. And without Russia, China's a lot weaker, still strong. But it is a one-sided. It's actually not even a comparable to say it's like the dynamic between Israel and America. Because she claims that a much weaker country, a country the size of New Jersey, controls the largest global superpower because Zionists, right? So it's actually worse that she would not be able to make that connection. Okay, next up.
What about us? Pornography, welfare.
Pornography. Okay, right. Let's hit perplexity. Russia prostitution rate. I think you mean Russia prostitution rate. Blah, 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 blah. Prostitution is illegal, and public estimates are very widely. Secondary sources online claim much larger. Okay. If you want, I can also give you the legal status estimate. One commonly cited estimate says there are about 719,000, almost 1 million people involved in prostitution in Russia. Prostitution is illegal. Yeah, it's illegal. Here, there's still a problem. Okay. Is there... Let's go with Christian attendance, Russia. Oh, geez, I'm having a hard time spelling words. There we go. Christian church attendance in Russia is generally low, even though many people identify as Orthodox Christian. Recent sources say no more than about 1 in 10 Russians attend religious services, and some estimates put active practice at only 2 to 10% of the population. Let's go. One more. Islam. Islam population increase in Russia. Okay. Oh, come on. What are you doing to me here? Russia, Islam population increase. Okay, we're doing. Oh my God. Okay, well, it's a lot. It's a lot, right? I wasn't even planning on that, and I'm probably going too far ADD, and we're going to waste too much time. My point is, right? It's a nation that has a lot of prostitution, even though it's illegal. Very low Christian turnout. Very low, faith and what have you. And the Islamic population is growing at a rapid rate. So, if Russia's better than America, I think that she should move there because it's not the type of place that I would want to be. We do have a problem here. We have our own problems. I'm not saying that we are without our problems, but she does make one more claim. Hold on one sec.
Terrorism, nonstop war.
America is in nonstop war. How long has Russia been in war? Russia's war is killing thousands of people a week. Not a month, not a year, a week.
Debt.
Russia is, their economy is absolutely collapsing. They pay their citizens, I believe it's like, their citizens in Russia make about 1/8 what the average American makes. Okay?
People telling us that this is freedom, right?
They're not freedom. I don't know if you remember, but the guy who ran against Putin, he died in a prison because Putin arrested him for running against Putin. What about the American? You remember? You notice how we always have some type of American that's held in detainment and put into a labor camp in Russia? Yeah, that's not freedom. Okay, so no. Now, everything I just did is the wrong way to do it. Okay? I mean, not necessarily if you're doing it on your show, but if you're responding to her, everything I just did is the wrong way to do it. What do I mean by that? Right? Every time you debunk one of Candace Owens' batshit, crazy, nonsensical, completely untrue claims, you validate her, right? You do. You validate her because you're having a conversation. What do I keep saying? Stop having conversations with these people, right? You can do it the way I just did it, where if like you're talking about it on your podcast, etc. But you have to be very careful about how you do that. All right. Let me show you how you do it. All right. Because this one, it was a reply to Stella Escobedo. She asked me, I saw Graham Allen, who said something along the lines of like, Candace, here's the proof that the video's real or something like that. And I told her, I go, every time you reply to Candace Owens with quote proof, you're basically being like, oh, she's just mistaken. She's not lying. She's mistaken. Oh, you know what? Candace, hey girl, I didn't realize that you didn't know. No, she's lying. You don't validate somebody's argument, because then what happens is they come back and they go, well, if I'm lying, prove it. And you can't prove a theory. That's why it's a theory. Conspiracy theory can never be disproven, which is why they do it, right? The Jews control the world. Okay, prove it. Oh, come on, bro. Look, follow the evidence. Look at the money. They don't ever provide their evidence. You are constantly providing evidence to people who do not provide evidence, validating them, because no matter how much evidence you provide, you can't disprove their theory, because it's a freaking theory. All right? So, as somebody in the chat stated before the show got started, I wasn't planning on this, but this is how you deal with Candace, okay? And people like them. And if you wonder why I have such naughty language, I know that upsets some of you, but it's on purpose. If you wonder why I'm effective, it's because I'm not Charlie Kirk. He was the good guy. He was the good Christian. He was the one that was doing everything his way. I am not him. I envy him. I wish I was him. He's better than me. But just like you need Charlie Kirk, just like you need people who are going to respectfully have conversations, you also need people like me who are going to flip the f***ing table over. Candace, even if the video is fake, it's not. Charlie didn't pick Erica as CEO. He picked her to be his wife, not you. She's still CEO, not you. Your husband picked you to be his wife because he took Andrew Tate's PhD course and got his pimping hose degree. That's a real thing, by the way. Andrew Tate was best friends with George Farmer while he was teaching a course called the Pimping Hose Degree. She met Andrew Tate through she met George Farmer through Andrew Tate, and they got married 17 days later. One of the things, and I know all this because Andrew Tate's suing me because I had to do research on him. One of the things that Andrew Tate teaches in his Pimping Hose Degree is to find women who are stupid, who will pump out a bunch of babies so you can lock them in, right? Less likely to leave you if they have babies. Make sure they don't talk back. Make sure they're just baby factories and make as many kids as you can possibly can because you want to, you want to basically create your own little, employees. It's kind of like that show Succession or Billionaires or whatever the hell it is. All right. That's real. All right. So, and they don't talk back when you go and hang out with your boys about how banging trans women is fine as long as they're hot. You're quite literally a 3D baby printer a rich guy bought to convince everyone the rumors about him being gay aren't true, which is probably also the reason why he puts up with you making an absolute clown of yourself and him, because he knows that if he ever left you, you'd make a 10-part series exposing him as the British version of Kevin Spacey. And trust me, she would. You think hell hath no scorn like a woman? Hell hath way less scorn if you're a woman than if you are schizophrenic. Anyone that crosses her gets absolutely just like, bruh. You think that she wouldn't drop everything on her husband if he was like, I'm tired of your shit? Of course she would. He's probably way more worried about being exposed by Candace than he is that, his crazy wife is just doing a bunch of weird stuff online. Now, this right here is the most important part. This is how you deal with the crazies, with the conspiracy theorists. Okay, let's do this. You're right. You're right about everything. The B cult killed Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson didn't do it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Doesn't change the fact that Erica Kirk is still the CEO. Charlie loved her, and she's going to carry on his legacy. Doesn't matter. What do you think is going to happen if all of your crazy theories are proven true? He chose her as his wife, not you, and she is the CEO, not you. So keep sitting in your mansion behind a ring light, entertaining a bunch of HOA Karens who love watching you take out your miserable life on a woman you wish you could be, but never will be. And this part is very true. She will be as relevant as a reality TV contestant in 10 years. Erica will still be very well known and the leader of TPUSA and the leader of a movement that tries to bring back faith, family, and freedom to the youth of America across colleges throughout this whole country. That's how you deal with Candace. You notice what I didn't do? You know what I didn't do? I didn't validate her. There's not one thing in this post about how, well, you're actually wrong, right? I kind of did. I put it in parentheses. It's important to learn these tactics because they know what they're doing. they know what they're doing. If you are arguing in good faith with a bad faith actor, you're losing. You don't argue good faith with a bad faith actor. It's like I debated that guy, Jay Dyer. People talk about it all the time. It was so months ago. It was an 8-minute debate. I made him rage quit because he kept on trying to bad faith debate me. And he said something about like the College of the Apostles. And I go, the Apostles went to college? I was trolling him, right? And he goes, you don't know what the College of the Apostles is? I go, is it like a university? Was it a university back then? He finally caught on and he booted me. He kicked me out. It was an 8-minute debate, right? Because that's how you deal with them. You don't validate them. Anyway, I know this might sound a little like complicated. It might sound counterintuitive, but it actually is the better way to do it, in my opinion. Unrelated story, just wanted to throw this in here really quick. You're going to hear about how the racist administration denied entry of a Somalian because he's black and Muslim, and he was supposed to be a referee at the World Cup. I did the Dan Bongino rule on this one, and glad I did. The Somali referee who was denied entry in the United States had an association with a suspected member of a terrorist organization. The left is really mad that our country, the Trump administration, DHS, whatever, National Security, Homeland Security, I don't know who, denied entry to this guy. And I think that like it's like I don't think, I mean, I'm not trying to do like the whole like maybe he was coming here just to, you know, judge a soccer game, but maybe he wasn't. So I think this was probably the right call. I don't think anyone with any connection to any terrorist organization should be in this country. Anyone, period. You have a cousin? Bye. You have a cousin who's a terrorist? I'm not a terrorist. Your cousin's a terrorist? Bye. Sorry, we just can't take the risk. Sorry, it's not you. It's your cousin. You know what you should do. You should tell your cousin to stop blowing shit up. Then maybe we'll let you back. Okay. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, right? We're about halfway through the show. This is going to be spicy. Spicy. I'm going to call out both sides like I always do. I'm going to point out how the both sides are absolutely just wrong for the way they are talking about a horrible tragedy. I covered Kevin's show. By the way, everyone pray for Kevin's mom. I'm going to cover his show again today. So if you want to watch in the 3 p.m. hour, I will be back. I'm going to have to do the same thing I did yesterday. Go to work, come back, come here, go to work. But, you know, it's his mom. I don't mind. Luckily, I work for myself. I can do stuff like that. This armrest is not here. Urgh. All right. Sorry. I just got a little off of that. Okay. Here's Matt Walsh trashing this kid who was just found guilty of murder. All right, and look, I'm not defending Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony is a murderer. Carmelo Anthony murdered Austin Metcalf. He did. But a court of law just sentenced him to 35 years in jail, found him guilty, right? I believe that sentence for a first-time offender with no criminal record, a 17-year-old kid who made a very bad decision and needs to be punished, I believe it was fair. Could have been a little longer. Definitely should not have been shorter, but fair. I think that ruining his life is, and his life is ruined. I mean, what I mean is locking him up until he's, like, you know, like dead, or death penalty. for a 17-year-old kid who it's a first-time offense, not a career criminal, not a pattern of behavior. You know, I think that that's fair for that situation. So here's how I think it should work, right? Once somebody goes through the process that we have in this country to maintain a civil society, and there is a fair and judicious outcome, I don't think that you should maybe just keep, insulting and egging on and baiting and grifting and clout chasing off of it, right? Obviously, you can talk about it, obviously. But Matt Walsh says Carmelo Anthony's parents wanted their son to live in a gated community, and now he will. So it all worked out for them in the end. First of all, Carmelo Anthony's parents are huge pieces of shit. Okay, I'm differentiating between the two. Matt's not, right? And we need to do better because all of this, some of you are my friends, some of the people in the comments, you're losing the plot. I am not defending Carmelo Anthony. I am not. I'm also not kicking a kid who made a very stupid decision, which has resulted in the death of another kid. I'm not doing that either. And you know one of the biggest reasons why? Austin Metcalf's father forgave him. If you won't, look inward. The father of the kid that Carmelo killed forgave him. And Jake Lang chastised him for it. You want to be more like Jake Lang, or do you want to be more like Austin Metcalf's father? All right, and we'll get to Jake Lang in a minute, by the way. Another Matt Walsh post. He deserves life. Actually, he deserves death. But 35 years is more than I thought they'd give him. Well, at least Matt Walsh is admitting that he was wrong about all of his BS, like, he's going to get off. All in all, this has been a win for justice. Okay. So let me ask you guys. I mean, look, I'm pro death penalty, right? I am. I'm pro death penalty. But do you guys really think Carmelo Anthony deserves death penalty for this? Like, you might say yes, and you might have a good argument. I want to know who thinks that when you consider all the facts, right? Take race out of it. Take the other examples of injustice that have happened but are completely unrelated. Take all of that out of it, right? A 17-year-old kid with no violent history, no criminal record, got into a beef with another kid. It escalated. He stabbed him. The other kid died. He was convicted of murder. Do you think death penalty? I don't. I'm sorry. If you disagree with me, that's fine. You can. I think that if there is a chance to reform Carmelo Anthony, you should try it. You should try it. I think you should forgive him. I think he should be punished. I think you should pray for him. But wishing death on him? I don't know, man. I think that a lot of people's motivator in this is just not him. I think you're motivated by the guy who stabbed Irina Zarutska. I think you're motivated by, so many BLM riots and burnt down cities and the actions of other people in the Black community. And I think you are taking all of that and you're aiming it at this kid. And somebody in the chat just goes, will it make him humble or will it make him worse, right? Statistically, it's not looking good for Carmelo Anthony. He's probably not going to go in there and educate himself and just read books every day and come out, an advocate where he tries to help people, maybe make up for the life he took by trying to help others and save other people. But it's possible. It's possible. Should we give him the chance or should we take the chance away from him? Again, remember, I'm looking at the facts, right? I'm not looking at all of the other things. Okay, look here. Look. I'm here. Right side. Right here. This is where I'm at. I'm not taking into account George Zimmerman, Irina Zarutska, nothing. I'm going 17-year-old kid, stabbed another kid, no criminal record. He's going to be an adult he's going to be in his 30s when he gets out, maybe more, maybe 40s. He's going to miss out on all sorts of stuff in his life. I think that's a very severe punishment. I don't know. If you guys don't agree with me, that's fine. But that's my opinion, and I'm gonna always give you my opinion. I'm not going to run with the crowd, and I'm not going to run against the crowd. I'm not a contrarian, and I'm not an audience capture robot. I'm me. I'm Misfit. These are the thoughts and the beliefs that I have. What I can tell you, though, is this. I think it's wrong. But you know what? We got to call balls and strikes on both sides. And Carmelo Anthony's parents are huge pieces of shit. They are. They are the worst people in the world, right? The father, the mother, the way they grifted off of this, the way they raised money. I think that they are partially responsible for why, probably very responsible for why their son got the sentence he did. I think they used him. I think they used the situation to raise over $1 million, right? If you want to direct your ire at somebody, this lady's a good person to start.
What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do at this point? What? I'm lost for words. I don't know what to do. I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more. You can't walk away no more.
Rest in peace, Trayvon Martin. Let me ask you this right now. I hear.
Rest in peace, Trayvon Martin. So you see what they're doing? This is what I just said. They're going Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, this, and this. Guys, no evidence in this case. None of the evidence presented in this case showed that the thing that happened was racially motivated. None. There was none presented. Was it racially motivated? I don't know. I'd have to be in Carmelo Anthony's head. But none was actually racial. None that we know of was racially motivated. This demon, she's making it racially motivated. And I am not saying that Matt Walsh is as bad as her. I think she's worse. I just also think that Matt Walsh is not acting very Christian. Randy Fine. I know a lot of people like him because he's pro-Israel. I do not, because of this. He does this way too much. If he was an influencer, if he was a social media guy, I'd be like, okay, you're a little much, but yeah. This is a representative. you have to understand that the representatives in Congress, the people we elect, represent you. He is speaking for every single one of his constituents because that's how it works in America. Carmelo Anthony deserved the death penalty. Anything less is unacceptable. It's perfectly, he has a right to have this opinion, but he's also probably not motivated by the right reasons. All right. He just says too much. I like Randy Fine as far as how he votes and some of the things that he says, you know, like, but he it's like kind of like the way the left talks about Trump. It's like, I wish he'd stop tweeting. That's how I feel about Randy Fine. Okay, jumping to the other side. Right? We gotta make sure we cover this equally. We're not trying to just go, look at everything the left's doing, look at everything the right's doing. Look, we're trying to be objective, honest, and we're trying to cover this evenly, fairly, balanced. Here's Tariq Nasheed. Okay? Daniel Penny snuck up behind an innocent black man who never touched anyone and choked him to death while claiming self-defense. This happened in New York. It has some of the strictest self-defense laws and duty to retreat. Penny was still acquitted and paraded around like a hero. Carmelo defended himself from a physical assault in a Texas estate with the most expensive stand your ground laws, and he gets a murder conviction. The only difference in these cases, the enforcement is governed by systemic white supremacy. Daniel Penny took down a guy who said he was going to murder people, was assaulting people, had a criminal record. He was just a crazy person. Everything in this tweet is just garbage propaganda, but it's both sides. My point is both sides are doing this shit. Now, this is wild. You remember how I said that I'm one side's worse? It is. It's the left. One side's way worse, right? We're going to play a few clips from Jasmine Crockett. We got 15 minutes left. I'm not moving as fast as I wanted to, so let's just go. Holy, you know what?
Awful. Wait a minute. Was it a switch? I don't know what he had. It was like it seemed like it was a multi-tool, almost like a Swiss Army. Like with like with the little scissors and everything and whatever. So it was small.
Well, I would have argued the size of it alone, you wouldn't even think it's a deadly weapon.
And that's
forgot he had the bag.
If it was one of the little, like I don't know, like I do think.
Well, that's why he went to his coach.
Jasmine Crockett is basically saying Austin Metcalf was stabbed with a smaller knife, so that's not a deadly weapon. These are the same people that say that there is such a thing as an assault rifle because of the way it looks. No, I'm not joking. That's how the definition they give for what makes a weapon more deadly is how it looks. Okay, this gets way worse, by the way. I'm giving you the least crazy, and then wow, right? Oh, actually, sorry. That's the worst one. Okay, next up from eyelashes.
Black women, especially black women who have black male children, live in fear and agony every single day. A fear and agony that I promise you, the Metcalfs probably never spent a day living that way.
Oh. So Austin Metcalf's father shouldn't feel so bad because his kid who died was white. Right? Black women, it's way worse. It's way worse for black women when they lose a child, right? So literally, like she's literally saying, she's like, based on the color of your skin, if you lose your child, it will be worse if you're black. I mean, statistically, she might have a point, right? Because, I mean, black women make up for 40% of all abortions. So I think it would be a little bit more rough if you're the one who murdered your child, right? Maybe that's what she's referring to. Maybe she's referring to the guilt of black women feeling like, oh, I killed my baby. I don't think that's what she's saying, but I mean, maybe. Now let's go to the holy.
If a 300-pound man is beating me, like on top of me and beating me down, I'm not limited to fist. You know, I would argue that even the only time we go into things like people's hands being considered deadly weapons is typically like if they're a professional boxer or that kind of stuff. But I think by the time you start getting to like football player, good argument. Good freaking argument. We're not talking about like the golfers. We're talking about football players, right? Like this is what they are trained to do, is to inflict like serious physical contact. And it's my understanding that the decedent was that if a
She basically just said that she would have stabbed him too because he's a football player. Right? You guys remember we talked about Chud the Builder, right? And how shooting a guy 5 times for slapping you or hitting you or hitting you across the head is disproportionate response. I wonder if Jasmine Crockett would have the same argument for Chud the Builder. I wonder if she would be like, you know what? That guy Chud the Builder, he definitely should have shot that black guy 5 times for punching him. She wouldn't. She wouldn't. Of course she wouldn't. And that's what I'm saying. All the people that are making the arguments for Chud, a lot of the people that are making the arguments for Chud, they're making the exact opposite argument for Carmelo Anthony, right? For instance, let's see here. No. Here it is. Black Tucker Carlson. Black Tucker Carlson. F. Charlie Kirk, F. Arena Zarutska, F. President JFK, F. Dr. King, F. Joseph Smith, F. all white people, right? Carmelo Anthony was found guilty, yep, etc., etc. Let's just try something. I didn't, do this before the show started, so we're going to figure this out together, but I have a feeling. Let's see here. Chud the Builder. 2 Chuds. Okay. Well, I thought I'd be able to find something pretty quick, and we're running it. Oh, here we go. Yeah. You think that what I'm doing here is fair? Pointing out how people like Matt Walsh, and I'm not comparing the two. I'm not equating the two. I'm very, very clear on this. What Matt Walsh is doing is way less extreme and evil and demonic than this. But are both sides, at least both sides, basing their ire for the other on race? Yeah. One side's doing it way worse. This side. I will concede that. All right. This is Jake Lang created a conversation in here last week where somebody said something along the lines of Jake is like saving Texas, or Jake is going after this, or Jake this. And I was like, I don't think you guys know who Jake Lang is. All right? Jake Lang is a piece of garbage. Right? He is a horrible, horrible human being. And before I jump into this, let me bring you back to what Jake Lang did with Austin Metcalf's father, right? It's on my page. Okay, it should be here soon because we scrolled and we found it pretty quickly last time. But he went after Austin Metcalf's father. Here we go.
Willing to stand by me in a press conference. That's called white guilt.
Here.
That's called white guilt.
No, let it talk.
You're creating more Austin Metcalfs with your weakness, sir.
Jake Lang just said to Austin Metcalf's father, you are responsible for your son's death because you are not racist, because you forgave the kid who stabbed him, because you are a true Christian. You're responsible for your son's death. That's what Jake Lang just said to Austin Metcalf's father. Fuck that guy. Jake Lang is a provocateur. He's constantly getting himself into these issues. A lot of people think that he's an op. He's a controlled opposition or a paid informant or what have you. I don't know. Maybe. But he was arrested for terroristic threats after this.
This courthouse. Carmelo Anthony should be swinging from a tree outside this courthouse.
Carmelo Anthony should be swinging from a tree outside of this courthouse. Y'all really want to keep on pressing me on how much good Jake Lang is doing for the movement? See, this is the problem. Some of you, and I'm not blaming, this is tough love, not trying to, be too harsh on you. Some of you have a problem with discernment, okay? You will see somebody do something that you agree with, and you will ignore all the other things that they're doing. This happens with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's like, hey, go to the gym, make money, work out, be proud of who you are, et cetera, all very positive messages for young men. But then he also says, make women your sex slaves, hook up with underage girls, impregnate 16-year-olds. And you go, yeah, but. No. Everything after but is bullshit, right? If you have somebody who you agree with, align with on an issue, and then they are just the worst human being ever on another issue, find somebody else who you agree with on that other issue and condemn them totally. Put them in a box. What have we talked about? Miso strategy. Mock, insult, shame, and most importantly, ostracize. Kick them out of the movement. Stop aligning with them. Guilt by association is real, and you will be judged by me, by others. I don't care. This is not how it works. You don't get to just cherry pick the good parts of people and say they're good people. No, sometimes they're pieces of shit who say good things. Sean's in here. What does he say? If the person that I disagree with the most says water is wet, I'm going to go, yes, you're right, water is wet. That doesn't mean I align with that person. All right. But yeah, Jake Lang, good. Glad he's arrested. Yes, Jake Lang should have free speech. Yes, he should be able to protest. And honestly, yeah, whatever. But he's trying to get arrested, so go get arrested. All right. Here it is. I just got an update from Jake Lang, who was arrested by dozens of DPS, Texas Federal Police officers, who ripped him off the plane, handcuffed him, and drove him away while he was still on the tarmac. Jake has been charged with Class 3 terroristic threats for saying if the jury didn't find... Here we go. We're about to get gaslit. For saying if the jury didn't find Carmelo Anthony guilty, that Jake would take care of it himself. That's a death threat. Yeah, idiot. Texas State Police have yet to arrest any of Carmelo Anthony's supporters who have threatened to hang Jake from a tree. Whataboutism is not an argument. Those people should be arrested too. Jake Lang is the one with the camera and a bunch of followers where they know how to find him. Maybe those other people are hard to find. Maybe they were just randomly, anonymously screaming it. This is why people from Antifa don't get arrested a lot, because they say a bunch of horrible things, but they're smart enough not to post their identity on the internet so that you can easily go and get them. Both wrong. Jake's dumber because Jake puts his face out there. Both illegal too. Death threats are not legal. They're not free speech. Texas, every time they target. Okay, they target. Jake is walking in front of a firing range and going, "Why are you targeting me?" It's like, oh my God, I got shot. Why'd you do that? Full lawfare to try to silence his voice. James Bond. Okay. I want to end with this clip. Spoiler alert, if you've never seen the end of A Time to Kill, an amazing movie, great movie. This drives my point home, and I'm not going to play this whole scene because it's really long, but I want you to just hear this last part. This is the movie A Time to Kill, if you've never seen it. It's about Samuel L. Jackson kills 2 white supremacists who raped his daughter, and Matthew McConaughey's a white lawyer in the South who has to defend him, and it's an all-white jury, and the jury is going to convict Samuel L. Jackson because Samuel L. Jackson murdered 2 people. In the movie, he literally did murder them, but he's going to try to get them off. He's going to try to get Samuel L. Jackson off, and this is his closing argument, and I need you guys, if you are of this mindset of black-white, I want you to really pay attention because this is a good point.
Urine. Soaked in their urine.
Oh.
Her raped.
There we go.
Beaten. Broken body.
He's describing everything the white supremacists did to this little black girl, to a white jury.
Soaked in their urine, soaked in their semen, soaked in her blood, left to die. Can you see her? I want you to picture that little girl. Now imagine she's white.
Makes sense yet? Okay. Sean Farish is coming up next. Damn, I can't believe I got through all 30 of those tabs. It's an important issue, guys, because if we listen, racism is just a fire that people keep throwing a log on. And it's all woke. Racism is woke. Stop being woke. Start focused on facts. All right. Real quick, T. Hodges, Freedom Foxtrot, LFA producer, share. Brendan Farish. The beautiful Brendan Farish is here. Sean Farish is here, and they are coming up next. Enjoy Ungoverned. I will see you tomorrow for 2A Thursday. I'm off to work. Actually, I will see you today for the 3 p.m. show, which I don't know the name of it because it's not my show. All right. See you later.
A partially valid, a half-truth, if you will, is being pushed.
I can't wait to find out all sorts of new and exciting things I didn't know about myself.
So you just hate Jews, bro?
Yeah, you're just an anti-Semite. Congratulations.
You're
Go
not.
join.
What would you say?
Exactly.
Well, that's different. It's not different. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's
that just we are the only society on Earth who has the obligation to self-destruct, to blame ourselves for every problem that has ever existed, and we just think of ourselves as the worst human beings who are responsible for every bad.
How many Muslims are trying to stop Boko Haram? How many Muslims were confronting ISIS? How many Muslims, the extremists always win. So the peaceful majority, of which I know many,